welcome, podcast listeners. You are here with your host. It is Mr. BudgetPedalChap. That's me. I'm waving. No, I'm not. You can't tell. This is audio only. You are also here with the one, the only, the man who's probably going to cough in this episode, Mr. Matt Quine. Say hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Well, hey.
Yeah, expect some jump cuts if you can be bothered.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot of work. So maybe you might just, because I imagine Matt is quite a professional, and he tends to lean away from the microphone when he's doing coughing. So I imagine that's probably going to be the case. You'll probably get some distant coughs in the edit. I'll try and edit them out as much as possible, but like I say, it's a lot of work, and I'm in a particularly lazy mood. So we'll see. We'll see how motivated I am by the time it comes to editing. How are you, Matt? How are you? Apart from being extremely coffee, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Still living in the bubble that we were in. Had a little bit of a scare that the bubble was not going to be a bubble anymore, but obviously it was just a scare and nothing more. So yeah, life is still for us like it used to be for you, or might be in the future for you. Sort of.
Yeah, it's looking ever more distant, that is. Because we're getting really weirdly, we're getting targeted Facebook adverts going, your area is high risk. And I think that's the way that they're doing it, because it's hard to keep track of which areas at what point at any given time. But it's largely seeming all the areas that are not kind of in the south and full of rather wealthy people, high risk. Funny that, isn't it?
No comment. It
is really funny.
Yeah, so I'm sort of in this little bubble still. I think I've gigged since the last time I cast, but I haven't spoken to you for over a month at this point, and it's been 4 weeks since I've gigged. So
yeah,
it went well. I can't remember much about it.
Yeah, you've slept since then, and yeah, it was nothing of note. So yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah. In terms of what I've been up to guitar wise, not a great deal. I'm in the middle of a 6-week off period from gigging, which obviously, having gigged most weekends since we were able to, a little bit weird. I did plan on breaking down the board. I still plan on breaking down the board, but I've now got 2 weeks to do it.
Yeah. It's like when you were a kid and you had 6 weeks holiday. You're like, I plan on doing this, and this, and then it's like the last week before term starts again. Shit, yeah, I've literally just stayed in my pants and played Sega. Yeah, that's pretty much how my half terms used to go. So,
but there is definitely one thing that I need to mention, and that is that my 37 effects, obviously Doug Chris, the Patreon backer, my 37 effects Fat Guy Little Coat fuzz has arrived, and I have played it quite a bit.
Nice.
I am a big fan of the Fat Guy Little Coat. I'm gonna guess fuzz face kind of esque.
Okay.
If I don't know what the circuit's like. I've not asked him anything about it, but to me it sounds certainly more fuzz facey than Big Muffy, in terms of if you've got the two types of fuzz and they are them, then I would say it sounds definitely more fuzz-facey. But he might tell you that I'm completely wrong. I might be shouting out my arse, but that's what I hear. But it's not one that gets lost in a mix, so it's a little bit brighter than I was expecting.
Okay,
but in terms of using it in a mix, that's perfect. It sits in exactly that right frequency where the guitar is supposed to sit, so that the bass doesn't get in the way, keyboards don't get in the way, it doesn't get in the way of the vocals. It's right there where it needs to be. I put it on the board for one gig, which was that gig, and yeah, it did exactly what I wanted it to. slightly different voicing to the Raise the Dead, but it's certainly a similar kind of vibe.
Which Raise the Dead have you got? Have you got the germanium or the?
I've got silicon.
You got the silicon, because from your description there, I'm thinking that the Fat Guy Little Coat is silicon based as well, because you tend to find germanium fuzz faces are a bit smoother, and the EQ tends to be a bit more like what you were mentioning, where it can get lost. You have to crank it a little bit louder, and it doesn't really sit. You just end up wall of sounding people. But yeah, germanium fuzz faces tend to be good in like less dense band mixes, like trios. But yeah, silicon as a rule of thumb is a bit brighter and a bit more kind of snarly, a bit more attack to it. So I assume that's the case, but Doug, definitely get in the Fret Talk podcast and give us a bit more info about that, because I'd like to talk more about it, because it seems like, from what I've seen, it's an amazing looking little unit, and I want to hear it. So
yeah, I probably should have done some recording tones, but I got distracted by playing. I've basically been running it and a Brexit means Brexit either into each other in both directions, or separately into the Marshall Origin 5, and just playing along with stuff and just having a whale of a time.
Sounds like a good, yeah. To be fair, I know that I've got a good pedal for demo when that happens, when I set aside a night for it. Like, I usually set aside like a Monday or Tuesday night, so that I've got time to then edit it, and time if anything happens to kind of go back and fix it. But I've had a couple of pedals that I've gone to plug it in on the Monday or Tuesday night, where I've had the spare time to do it, and ended up pissing the entire time away just playing it and thinking, shit, it's like 10 o'clock and I can't start recording now.
Yeah. Then that's it. Like, it's just it just made me play and play and play and play and play, and yeah, it's exactly what you want from that kind of stuff. Like, I was running it into the BMB and playing a lot of like Santana style stuff, because it just gave you that fully saturated kind of gainy goodness that Santana has. You just flick it over to the neck pickup, roll off a bit of tone, and you're just there.
Sounds good, my man. Sounds good. I mean, Santana's tone, it got better. Like, that kind of rolled off neck pickup, smooth, buttery tone is kind of the 90s onwards, where he found PRSs, and he was, I think he plays Messers.
I don't know. I think you might be right.
I know he's got dumbbells, but
did he not step away from the dumbbell?
I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about Santana to be any kind of authority on it. I can say for sure that he plays PRS guitars, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if you go back to some of the earlier 70s stuff, his tone is fucking whack. It's just really, like, thin, and it's horrible.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like the likes of Smooth and that kind of era of Santana, where it was just kind of like thick and creamy, just saturated, but not like oversaturated and harsh. Just like, yeah, just thick and creamy and just awesome. Like, it's one of my favourite guitar tones.
Some might say that guitar tone is smooth.
They may well do that.
Indeed, yeah. Fuck me. Even I'm embarrassed. But it's a really good description of that guitar tone, isn't it? It's a really smooth, rounded sound.
Yeah.
It's not particularly gainy, but there's lots of kind of sustain and saturation. And all of the corners of the sound have been taken off either by the way it's driving the amp, or like him choosing a neck pickup and rolling that tone. so that the pick attack is softened as well. So it really is a smooth tone, but it just makes you not want to say it, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that actually. So, yeah, you've reminded me of something actually. Something that I did say that I would, because I was chatting with Mr. Yeomans today. In fact, actually, earlier on, about like 6 o'clock, because he'd posted up on his Instagram, he'd posted up a new pedal.
Ah, yes, it's finally been announced. I've been aware of the pedal for a little while.
Indeed, I've got the prototype for it down here, which I believe doesn't sound a great deal like how it is now.
It had some revisions, has it?
It has. He's tweaked it somewhat. I mean, some of it was based on the instruction that I gave him based on that the prototype. The prototype was really good, but I was just saying if you tweak this bit a little bit and like just make sure that this control does this a little bit more. He was like, yeah, sound. And then after that, he was like, okay, I've changed all of the clipping options and I've completely reworked this bit and that bit. It's like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, it's ready. Here it is. So I'm really excited for it because like the way he's described it and going on it based on what I've heard from the prototype, it's kind of Fendery, tweedy, Dumbly, maybe. I don't want to use these terms too much because it's if it's anything like the Messiah, it does the plexi thing, but it does such a wide range of tones.
Yeah.
That just saying, oh yeah, Marshall in a box, kind of undersells it a little bit.
It does, yeah. Like the Messiah does so many different levels of Marshall. Like it's not just a plexi.
Yeah, it does the eras of Marshall, doesn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, and it also does like Marshall pushed with a pedal as well. Like the high gain side is almost like a Marshall pushed with something else.
Yeah,
just to hit
a bit
full
like,
on.
A bit like in the 80s where they'd take their original Marshall heads and get them modded to push them even further. It gets that kind of territory.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is is it called the Preacher Drive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a Preacher Drive from Chevtone, and like, yeah, it's a little bit different from what I normally play, but I still want to check one out because,
yeah,
like I say, the original, the Messiah just kind of has got me. I don't want to say hooked on his pedals, but yeah, it's got me intrigued to try the rest. I'm on a journey of trying to try all of the Tate Effect stuff without leaving the Isle of Man, which is difficult when the only person on the Isle of Man who has any Tate Effects pedals is me.
Yeah. But yeah. It means that whenever you see like the B-stock bargains, you're like, yes, buy.
Yeah. Although there was a B-stock bargain that dropped yesterday, but that was a Silicon Raise the Dead, and I'm like, oh, I've got one of them.
Weren't it germanium?
No, it was silicon.
Was it?
100%, definitely silicon.
I mean, you will know because like I've looked at it in passing, whereas you've been hovering over the button.
Yeah,
I'm assuming so. Yeah, again, it's the Tate Effect pricing strikes again. Like the only thing wrong with this, it's like a B-stock bargain. One of the screws threaded when he was putting it together, which meant that he had to drill out the screw that had threaded so he could put a new screw in. And it's taken the paint off, not off the pedal itself, off the countersink on the pedal. So you can see a tiny little bit of bare metal. And you'd think, oh, that's like a minor blemish. Maybe like knock a tenner off. He's knocked something like 60 quid off the price.
Yeah, I think it's down from 150 to 105. So yeah, just
like yeah, absolutely. Like if you're after a sweet bargain, check out Tate stuff because the moment there's any blemish, and like there's stuff on it that I can't even see with some of these blems. You go, yeah, oh, this bit's scratched to fuck. I'm looking at it, and it's got like the tiniest little scratch if you put it up to light at a certain angle.
Yeah.
You're like, mate, that you could sell that as like top stock. And he's like, no, I need to discount it. Here you go, 50 quid off this. You know, you absolute madhead.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, we say this, but like, getting more of them into people's hands is just a good thing anyway, because the more people that play Stuart's pedals, the more people are going to want to buy Stuart's pedals, because everybody is going to talk to other guitarists about them because they are just so good.
I mean, yeah. You look at how much we talk about them, and I mean, I know that Stuart interacts with the podcast quite a lot, and he's been quite a friend of the podcast. But honestly, we wouldn't be talking about them as much if they weren't that good.
Absolutely, like I don't say pedal. I like the sound of pedals that I don't like the sound of. Like there's literally no point, because if somebody then buys something off a recommendation that I've said, and then says, "Oh, actually that was shit," and I then go, "Oh well, yeah, I know it is," I just look like a twat.
Yeah. I think in the business of being like a personality within the guitar world, and I'm not saying that we're anywhere near like massive enough to consider ourselves personalities, but like building up to anywhere near that, if your word isn't, it can't be trusted. If people can't trust what you're saying to them, you don't mean shit in this line of work, do you?
Exactly. Yeah. There's like, you have to be somebody who's trustworthy. People have to, be able to trust what you're saying. So yeah, it like absolutely wouldn't say anything good about pedals that I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't actually use myself. Which is like I say, going back to it, like I want to get myself a Honeyburst and a Preacher from Chevtone at some point. They're on my to-do list.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand why the Honeyburst and the Messiah work really well paired together, because it is like that, like a kind of amp style drive and then the pedal style drive, which you can then like marry together to get almost like a dual channel kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
And the Preacher, I'm assuming, then comes in as like the other side. So like the Messiah's the British kind of flavour of gain, and then you've got the Preacher will then kind of take the American side of things. But like since I've last played the Chevtone stuff, there's been a massive revision. So not only visually but internally as well. So to make everything a bit more consistent, Yeomans has been working really hard behind the scenes to work out like a PCB layout which kind of mirrors the tagboard stuff, but it also allows him to use like certain components which are like top quality components but aren't really feasible to use on a tagboard. So like certain capacitors, like box caps, really difficult to use on a tagboard because the leg spacing on those capacitors is really shallow, whereas tagboard is like a set, maybe like a couple of inches between the two tags. So it's allowed him to use like certain high quality capacitors to be able to, and a lot of other components as well. I'm not entirely sure of the revisions that he's using there, but he's got like kind of tagboard style PCBs printed, so like he can knock the PCBs out a little bit quicker in terms of build time, so he can get more of them out there, but also the consistency as well. So he's got these, and he's like his attention to detail again. It's almost kind of like like Stuart Tate kind of levels, where he's color coded the PCBs that go inside the pedal to the color scheme of the pedal, which is like insane. So he's got I think he's got a black one inside the honey burst. He's got a white one in the preacher, and I think it's like a yellow one in the Messiah to match the gold lettering. So he's gone to that, but he's sourced like a company to like finish the enclosures as well. So whereas before it was like, I think he was getting like vinyl stickers on the front, and then like epoxy finish in them, which like looks really cool. But again, like really time consuming and really inconsistent. No matter how good you are at doing that, for whatever reason, like be it like slight temperature changes or like just a bit of dust in the atmosphere, it can completely fuck up like an epoxy finish. So he's got a company to like finish the entire enclosure rather than just the front, and like mask print of some description, like the graphics, and they look absolutely banging.
Yeah, sorry, I was literally just going through the Instagram to check because I hadn't noticed that the PCBs were color coded to the pedals. Yeah. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's another one of those like extra little steps that 99% of the people won't notice. They're not going to bother opening it up and don't care. But he knows, and he's like, I want it to be this. I want every last detail of the pedal to be considered.
Yeah,
and it's one of them. So yeah, I'd say if you have checked out Chef Jones stuff in the past, hop back over to his Instagram, because like Matt's just done, like you'll see how it's like the new revisions of them. So it's just like honing in the consistency, honing in like the consistency of like parts and finish as well. But I mean, he didn't really need to. People weren't complaining about it before, but it's another like fine step.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that, and I can't wait, because he did say that in a couple of weeks' time, when he's got the like a couple of them sorted in stock, he'll send some more down so I can try the newer versions, see what I think, which I'm very excited about. I'm also going to hide my wallet, because I imagine that I'm probably going to. I'm eyeing up that preacher. It looks wicked.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I did have a quick look on his website to see if the preacher's on there yet, and it's not.
No, it's only just kind of.
Yeah, he announced it today, didn't he?
Yeah, so it'll be a week or so, maybe.
Yeah.
What also have I done this week? I've just noticed that the time is actually ticking on. We're not even close to news. I thought we'd be newsing right up in it by this point. So let's get the last bits of more what we've been up to. Right, so it's been a vibey week. It's been a really vibey week. So first of all, like chronologically, going forward from like the live cast, I think I mentioned it on the live cast actually. Stomp v Stomp episode number 3 is out, which is it's Univibe flavoured. So of course I don't have a Shinai Univibe. Who does? But I've got a Univibe which I look to at every given opportunity, which is the Moen Shaky Jimmy. Absolutely fantastic bit of kit. I hold it up as like absolutely brilliant. So I wanted to see how that stood up against the HX Stomps there's two modes. There's like the legacy mode again. I think I've done that in a couple of them where there's like a legacy mode, U vibe, I think it was called, and then the Helix version is called the ubiquitous vibe. And I almost didn't shoot that video because, again, like I did that thing where, like the night before, I plugged in the uni vibe and like just had a little kind of feel around to see what I'd be doing in the video. Ended up playing the Shaky Jimmy for an hour, didn't I? So, but like I was playing the Shaky Jimmy, and it was absolutely blowing the HX Stomp out the water because I was doing it just the HX Stomp ubiquitous vibe versus the Shaky Jimmy. Now, the reason why the ubiquitous vibe weren't sounding as good is because I was running it in mono. Whereas if you run it in stereo, it makes complete sense and it sounds wicked. But in mono, it's not as good as the Shaky Jimmy. So I ended up running the other two effects in stereo. Or in fact, sorry, I run the ubiquitous vibe in stereo. I don't think the legacy U vibe was stereo. But yeah, so I troubleshot? No, not troubleshot. Shootouted? Shot out? I don't.
Conducted a shootout.
Conducted a shootout. There you go. That's how to English. That's really hard to pluralize. So I conducted a shootout between those three things, and there was a chap in the comments, Raoul, who said that actually the Shaky Jimmy and the ubiquitous vibe they just had like a depth of character that the other one didn't. I loved all three, to be honest. I was getting real super into that kind of sound. I've recorded the next in the series, and I think on Pedalboards of Doom you can see it now. I think I've put it as a premiere, and it is the Boss DM2. Now, again, I don't have a Boss DM2. I do have a Moog and an Echo, which I am told is pretty close. So I shot that out against the analog delay and the what was it called? The Bucket Brigade, which again are both DMT flavors of delay. I think you might have even tried the analog delay because I think it's on the M5. So
if it's the analog delay from the M5, I've definitely used it.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I troubleshoot, not troubleshoot. That's the wrong word.
Used in the shootout.
Used in the shootout, yeah. Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you any more about that. I'm going to let you watch it in about 3 weeks' time. Fuck. But in that video, I shout back to the Univibe video, and it asks a question, or like asks if you notice something about the video. I'm just going to tell you here because it might be a bit subtle and it might be a bit like cryptic. I'm just going to say it here. Check the time, okay? It will make sense in about 3 weeks' time. Check the time, okay?
Okay.
That is my thingy. But I did a shootout on the No Talk Alto. It's not really a shootout if it's just on its own. So I did a demo of the Nux Monterey vibe, which is something that Mr. Will Powell of the podcast and of a Rocket Complex, he lent me this pedal. He lent it me so long ago, I think he forgot that I had it. So I do apologise. This is my public apology to Will. I'm really sorry that it's taken me so long. But yeah, I did the Monterey vibe, and again, pretty wicked. I was getting some pretty decent sounds. with Univibe pedals, I'm usually more into the vibrato mode than I am the chorus. However, with the Nux one, the chorus mode's any better. Who knew?
Okay.
Like, I'm down for that. I'm down for a bit of a change. What I did notice as well when I was going back through some of the no talk all tone thingies to see like what I've done, what I haven't. I should really have like a spreadsheet or something of like the pedals that I've done and versus what I haven't. I'm not that organised. You know what I haven't done yet, and it surprised me to no end.
But no talk all tone. I'm going to guess you haven't done the Mojo Mojo.
I've done the Mojo Mojo. That was not that long ago. That was like maybe a month ago. But the TC Shaker,
Ah.
I've not no talk all tone that. I've done a pedal boards of doom video for it. I think I might have done like a quick kind of demo for the channel, but I've not done an official no talk all tone for it. And I'm gonna double check it because I get this real weird feeling that I have done it. But I'm gonna double check it, and if not, that's gonna be the one coming out next. Maybe. Who knows?
Nice.
So, yeah, potentially. And I did say on the last podcast that around Christmas time, maybe the last one of 2020 will be a funny one for the No Talk All Tone, because I think I'll have maybe like a couple of weeks off for Christmas. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll like really work hard before Christmas and get them recorded so that I can keep it going. But one of them is going to be really funny, and I might let you know close to the time.
Right, okay. I look forward to this.
But we've got a podcast to be getting on with here, Mr. Matt Quine, and we are going to be doing a news discussion, not just news but discussion, smashed together news discussion. You ready?
I am ready.
Cool. Right, so first up in the news discussion, PBHP2. So the HP2 apparently was a model that had already previously happened. A little bit of a story behind it. So in 1996, after leaving Music Man, Eddie Van Halen went over to PV guitars because I think he was already, by that point, he was already doing the 5150 amp. I think that was maybe like 1992.
Okay.
But he kind of got coerced over to do guitars with PV, and released the Wolfgang model, which was like very similar to a Music Man shape. I think it's like the Axis, kind of like almost Telly meets Les Paul ish.
Yeah.
Yep. But the PV one, I believe, is like a carve top, so it's slightly more angular. Like smooth angles rather than just being a slab body. So 1996, this happened, and then they stayed in partnership for a while. But in 2004, Eddie then broke off to do the EVH guitar company, like the EVH company, because I think they then took the 5150 as well. And at that point, they continued on with the Wolfgang for a little while, but rebranded it as the HP, which apparently it didn't stand for Heading Poorly or the sauce, the British sauce that we have, that really weird brown sauce. No, it's standard for Hartley PV. I assume that's the bloke who founded PV. Who knows?
Okay. Why two though? Why not one?
Fucked if I know, mate.
Okay. Just thought I'd put it out there just in case you knew.
No, not a clue. Maybe it was called just the HP back then. Now it's the HP2. I don't know. Maybe it's 2 because it's got 2 pickups. Maybe like they considered the original Wolfgang the HP one. Who knows? So HP2 was discontinued for quite a long time. Don't know if you've heard, but very recently Eddie Van Halen died. And then suddenly PV back in the game. HP's back on this source is back on the table. Fuck me. Yes. Okay. So they've started a limited production run of the HP. So the first 400 of them are gonna use new old stock, a reserve of wood that they had from the 90s.
Okay.
So to me, that's like, oh, look, what, the 10-year-old wood? That's hardly anything to write home about. No, it's 30 years old because the 90s weren't a decade ago.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not quite. Like, I'm not 30 yet. I'm 29 next week.
Oh, happy birthday.
And I was born in 1991. So, not quite 30, but yeah, probably like 25-year-old wood.
Yeah, there we go, yeah. I'm sure there's a joke there about 25-year-old wood. Sure there is. I can't think of it. No, definitely not.
No, I don't know where you're going with this.
No.
You're on your own.
Yeah, I just gotta say, like, the older the wood gets, the it's just not as good. It's just not as good. Like, kind of peaked mid 20, I think, is where wood peaks. Shit, man. Right, so yeah, EVH, old 90s wood. So it's 25.5 inch scale length, 15 inch radius, maple cap and base wood body. Seems like a bit of a weird one. And full like single piece maple neck. I think it's bird's eye maple as well, so it's a bit fancy. Okay, yeah, cool. What else have we got? So it's got PV Floyd Rose system. It's dual humbucker. It's pretty much what you'd be expecting from a Wolfgang style body. Yeah. What do you think of it? Like, what's your opinion of the Wolfgang? The HP2 shape, guitar, etc., etc.
I don't mind the shape. I like that it's like a squash telly Les Paul hybrid kind of. Yeah, I don't mind the shape at all.
Yeah.
The rest of it, like, it's not me. I'm very much like you. I'm a blues dad at heart, and I just want a Strat or a Les Paul or a telly.
Yeah.
And the extra features are just something that I wouldn't use. Like, I don't need a flatboard. I don't need a Floyd Rose. I don't need lock and nut. I don't need high gain pickups or higher gain. I assume they're not like stupidly metal pickups, but I bet you they'll be higher gain than a standard path.
Yeah, they might be slightly overwound. I could deal with that, I reckon. I don't think I'm particularly put off by the sound of them, because I don't like you say, I don't think they're particularly hot. I'd assume they're kind of overwound Alnico magnet buckers, but I don't know. I don't think that was mentioned in the spec.
I mean, I'm sure they're really good guitars to play, because they were designed to be a player's guitar, weren't they? They were designed for. Obviously, Van Halen's known for his tapping and shredding, and you can't do that on a guitar that you have to fight So they're designed very much to be an ergonomic guitar, and I'm sure they're lovely to play. It's not my kind of instrument.
I'll tell you actually, Steve, he mentions 90s music's mans. He actually holds them in really high regard, which is the kind of era that Van Halen would have been signaturizing Music Man. So I assume it's very similar to that. 15-inch board, maybe a little flat, but yeah, like you say, it's very much kind of like a sports car of the guitar world, isn't it? But it's not like modern sports car. It's like an 80s sports car, like a Lambo Countach or like a 335 Spider. Like so it's something like that, where it's got the speed available to it, but it's still kind of got some classic look to it. Whereas I think I see like modern, I say modern, like I'm quoting the Ibanez RGs and stuff like that as being modern.
The 40-year-old Ibanez RGs.
Yeah, fuck me. But like, that's almost kind of like the archetype for like modern guitars, and like if you look to let's say like the mayonnaise guitars, they look very much like a stylized super strat, which is where that all started, and like the solar guitars and whatnot. They're all kinds of very, very RG and Jackson and all of this. They're all that kind of centric. You can see where their history comes from. Whereas the Wolfgang shape, it harks back to the classic shapes. So it's pointing straight back to like the Les Paul and the like the Strat, and like with the contours and being slightly more rounded rather than pointy. So yeah, it's got its feet definitely dipped within that kind of classic pool.
Yeah.
Which is why I'd rather one of these like 10 times out of 10 over like a modern day mayonnaise or a solar or just anything like that, really.
Yep, I can absolutely get on board with that.
But you know how much these are going for, Matt?
I imagine they're not cheap.
Yeah, well, they're USA made. They're a short run, and they're using old wood.
I'm gonna say £2,260.
I'm gonna go with that, because like if you lean into like the conversion rate, because this is in dollars. Got
Okay.
2,999. So you're probably not far off, you know.
I'm probably a little bit under. Probably like 2,450 or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bang on. Well done. So yeah, that's a thing. So, I mean, but what I wanted discussion part of this is, it's a bit fucking soon, isn't it? It's a bit soon. Look, he's been dead maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like it is very much reminiscent of cashing in, isn't it? It's now that he's back in like people's mindsets. Like a lot of people will go away and listen to music of people who pass away again, won't they?
Oh shit!
He was all over like all the new stuff, and
yeah. I did that like a couple of days after he'd passed. I put the best of both worlds, like 2-disc greatest hits with Hagar and David Lee Roth. Roth era, better songs. Sammy Hagar, better singer. I think is fair.
Okay.
I know I'd have many people like argue and try and fight me, but
Yeah.
it's not a competition.
You're entitled to your own opinion, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, no, I'm far enough away from you that you can't fight me. But yeah, it's just my opinion. But like consistently, Van Halen was in all of that, and yeah, like pretty meaty guitar tones. There were some pretty heavy tunes, especially towards that later end, like some big drop D riffs. I weren't expecting that. But yeah, pretty good. Some cool stuff. Like the early stuff really reminds me of like supercharged 50s rock and roll, pretty much. Something like that.
Yeah.
How about your experience of Van Halen? What has he particularly inspired you, or have you listened to the music much? Or
I don't think I've listened to a whole lot of it. Like, obviously, everybody, when they're first getting into guitar, asks people who you should go away and watch and listen to. And I spent a little time maybe thinking that I might want to be a proper shredder and sort of studying a few of Van Halen solos and realising that I didn't at the time have the talent or the inclination to go away and learn those techniques. And even now, I possibly have the ability to try and learn those techniques, but it's just not my kind of music. It's not something that I actively go out to choose to listen to. Like certainly my biggest exposure to Van Halen was it Billie Jean he was on? It was one of the Michael Jackson.
Beat It. Yeah, he played the solo in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like I've probably heard one song more than I've heard any of his actual stuff or the stuff by the band. But yeah,
absolutely, yeah. Really weird cameo. The fact that he was in just invited to play on a Michael Jackson tune, but like it's really iconic. It really is.
Yeah. And it's one of those solos that somebody says the solo from Beat It, and you can hear it in your head.
Oh yeah. Could try and hum it. I reckon if you give me a kazoo, I could get at least 60% of the way there. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, did you see the guy who'd played Eruption on 2 stylophones?
No, I did not.
Oh, it was metal. And to be fair, it was really good. Like, he nails... I assume it's a bloke. I don't know. I just saw the hands. But yeah, nails the solo. Like, even with, like, down-tuning the stylophone, because there's, like, a little rotary switch on the back of the stylophone, which allows you to go between octaves. And then, like, he'll hit the note and... like whammy bar. It's absolutely fantastic. I would suggest watching it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig that out. That sounds brilliant.
I mean, like in terms of the timbre of the instrument, it's a very grating sound. So it's not gonna win any awards for like actual musical merit, but it's a very impressive feat. Just the amount of talent that requires, dedication. Because like playing it with 2 styluses, on like doing both of those independently is enough to make me itch on the brain. But yeah, it's well worth a watch. I think like every guitarist after a certain point, after like Van Halen came about, had that thing where you go, oh yeah, that looks really cool. Like Eddie Van Halen must be like the coolest mofo on the planet, being able to bust out those kind of things, I'll give that a go. And then like 20 minutes afterwards, and you realise, no, it's not as easy as he's making it look. You go, okay, maybe just pentatonic licks for me then.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the other thing, like, whether he actively inspired any of the stuff that I played, probably not. Has he actively inspired half the guitarists that I've learnt from who've, like, born after 1980? Absolutely. Like, yeah, he's a massive, whether he's a direct influence on me or not, he's definitely had an influence on my playing by influencing other people, because he's cited by so many people as somebody that they aspired to, or to the reason they picked up the guitar.
Oh, completely. And I think in terms of like guitar, like electric guitar milestones, you've definitely got Hendrix way back when. Like when Hendrix burst onto the scene, people took note and were like, okay, we need to up our game. It's absolutely same thing for Van Halen. When he got on the scene, people were like, shit, we really need to start practicing.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure we've got that anymore. I think the kind of the technique side of guitar is almost plateauing to a point where you're thinking there's not really any more wow left. There's not that like explosion of excitement.
There's certainly, if there is any kind of move forward in technique, it's very small jumps. There's, like, obviously Hendrix wasn't a small jump, and neither was Van Halen. Like, it was a big jump from anything that was going on. And I think nowadays any jumps that are there are small enough that they don't wow enough people.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think you hit the nail on the head there. From I don't know, like the Beatles and the Kinks and the Rolling Stones to Hendrix, it was like, wow, shit, like this guy's busting out some real stuff. So it was like a massive jump up. And then after that, like from like the classic rock guys who were no slouches by like any admission, but then from that to Van Halen, it's like, wow, okay, this is next level. This is futuristic shit. Yeah, I don't think there's that next leap to go. I mean, you've got people doing like really interesting guitar styles like Pliny and Tosin Abasi, and like they're incorporating kind of like melodic chord tapping with other like techniques like slap guitar and stuff. But it's just kind of amalgamating stuff that's already happened rather than pioneering a completely new thing.
Yeah.
And I think, like, when we look back at guitar technique, Hendrix is always going to be there. Van Halen's always going to be there. They are milestone players.
Absolutely.
You might even throw in Malmsteen for a laugh.
No comment.
I like Malmsteen. You leave the Swedish donut hugger alone.
You know what? You can have him.
Yeah. To be fair, I will. Yeah. So I mean, I think it is cashing in a bit. From PV. Something about it doesn't sit all that nicely for me. But it is what it is. It might be their way of paying a homage to our Ed, and if it is, yeah, fine, carry on. What really gets me, like the gear exchange in the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace.
Ugh, yeah.
Literally straight afterwards, a guitar that people were struggling to get like 350 quid for. Now suddenly, it's upwards of $1,000. Like,
yeah,
there was that bloke who was selling it was a limited run EVH guitars, Wolfgang shape, with the 5150 stripe. And it was like maybe like a Korean model, so 500 quid maybe. He was trying to get 3.5 grand for it, like the day after Eddie had died. Like you absolute, yeah. I don't think there's a swear word strong enough for the disdain that I have for people.
Yeah, I just hate people.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's that. We've got space for one more news discussion topic. I reckon we'll leave the final one
Okay.
for, I don't know. We might get to it on the live cast. We might not. Who knows? Right. So Gibson Epiphone 59 Les Paul. So Epiphone have teamed up with the Gibson Custom Shop to kind of spec out an Epi Les Paul. So what they've done, they've got Gibson USA burst buckers in the guitar, which could be like a standard mod that you'd do to an Epiphone to make it that next level. They've also upgraded the wiring. It's sort of 50s wired with CTS pots. Something about the tenon joint. I don't know.
It's a long tenon joint, apparently, whatever that is.
There you go. It's the best kind, of course.
Way.
Yeah. Yep. Ladies love a long tenon joint. What's going on, man? What's going on? Yeah. So pretty decent spec. I'd like to think it's a slightly bigger body because the Epiphones are a reduced size, I think. So I'd like to think it's a slightly bigger body. And it's got the Kalamazoo headstock as well, so it's not as ridiculous as the kind of the clipped wings headstock that they used to have. So that's pretty awesome. It's 779, I think. It's a bit on the pricey side, but I think Epis have gone up quite a bit since. I think like your standard Epis are kind of 400-500 quid.
They have, but like 3 years ago, you could get a Gibson Les Paul Studio faded for like 500 quid.
Yeah, I think they're kind of this price now, aren't they?
I think they're about this, which like. I'm not saying Epiphone are inferior. I'm not saying that at all. And obviously, they've upgraded quite a lot of stuff in this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is going to be the dog's bollocks version, whereas the Studio Faded is your bare bones basic version.
It is, but I dare say this instrument still will be a poly finish rather than a nitro, and
standard.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that puts me off Epiphones is the fact that the poly finish, like, not so much that it is a poly finish, it's just they don't feel like a Gibson. You can make it look like a Gibson all you want. You can add, wiring to make it sound more like a Gibson. But until you get rid of that poly finish and give it a nitro finish, like, bearing in mind this is like 750 quid's worth of guitar, that's not cheap. That's not a cheap guitar anymore. I'd be wanting a nitro finish just so that it feels like a not even a premium instrument, just a not a bottom of the range instrument.
Yeah, I think the argument is like the PRS SE range are kind of sit around this price point. They're all poly finished.
Yeah,
I'm almost certain they will be.
Yeah, and I would criticise them for that as well because, mind you, I don't like even their nitro finish stuff is super high gloss, and I don't like high gloss.
Yeah, like Fenders at this price point will be poly finished. There's quite a lot you'd be getting poly finished, but I think because it comes from the Gibson heritage, I can understand. I could understand why you'd want that. Maybe if they just had like a satin feel on the neck, just to get away from that kind of stickiness. I don't know. I've got no problems with it. When I did see the price, I did do a bit of a shop. I think knock £100 off that, just 100. It'd sit a bit nicer with me. But yeah,
I can't argue with that. Like, I think it was the fact that it's, 250 quid shy of a grand was like once you start to get to that 749, 750 kind of range, you start thinking about it's basically £1,000. Whereas if you say 650 isn't basically £1,000.
no, that's closer to the midpoint than it is to the upper echelons. And you're right, and it's at that point where you could possibly be getting something with Gibson on the headstock rather than something with Epiphone. And when you get the Gibson stuff, it's not going to be poly finished. It's going to be nitro. It's going to be a thin nitro finish. It's not going to be particularly well
wearing,
and well looked after in terms of the finish. It's not going to be inspected within an inch of its life at that price point. But it's going to be a nitro finish. And actually, some of those faded finishes, you see them on the gear exchange, like the fadeds that are like 2 or 3 years old. Someone's trying to shift it, and it's got like that little bit of wear, like it's starting to relic up quite nicely. So that's a bit of a selling point for them. But you're not going to get like the double binding, like the binding around the body and the neck.
Yeah,
you're not even going to get a set of binding on one of those at that price point.
No. Yeah, I mean that's the thing to go for. Like aesthetically, it will look like a far more premium instrument than those old studio fadeds or whatever they used to call them. It will look like a far more premium instrument.
Yeah,
like you'll get your bindings, you'll get all of the kind of stuff that you're looking for. It's from what I was reading, is it a AAA veneer over a standard flame maple cap? Standard maple cap.
I assume so. Yeah. So it's again kind of cutting the price that way.
Yeah, but I mean, their argument is we've spent so much upgrading the hardware and the pickups and stuff that we still do have to cut corners. Otherwise, we're basically just building a Gibson.
Yeah, and the more you put onto that Epiphone, the less the Gibsons become an option. Because if you made it a nitro finish, people like there would be like some people in that who are looking in that price range would go, actually, you know what? I'll just buy the Epi instead, because it's got everything apart from Gibson on the headstock. So I don't know. But it's for sure not a bad move from Epi. It's what you might do to an Epi yourself to make it more Gibson-y, which fine. I'm cool with that. And the fact that they've pointed it towards the 59, which is kind of holy grail Les Paul. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yep, agreed.
If you were kind of on the in the board meeting for Epiphone's next releases, what would you be looking to put out, considering they've now done the 59 Les Paul?
I honestly, I would move away from the Les Paul at this point, and I'd be saying there's not many SGs in our range, and there's usually one SG at a time. Why don't we have one with a batwing and one with the small pick guard? Maybe see if, like, I think Epi have done the Vibrola in the past, haven't they?
Yeah, I think very recently they've done an SG special. It's not the special because it's got the binding. But the SG with the 2P90s, and I think the full bridge, not the wraparound. They've done the Batwing with the Vibrola, the Batwing with the Maestro trem, and they've done the full guard dual bucker version. So I think they've actually catered generally quite
maybe
nicely.
they have. I don't. I think the Les Paul market kind of is oversaturated at this point, especially like they've got all their standards, which have got like some of the features that some of the bigger guitars. So like some of them have got split. You can split or
Yeah.
Look, the humbuckers and stuff, and
the old Epiphone Pro.
Yeah,
the Pro. The Pro Bookers or something, I think they call it.
Yeah. They were the Pro Bookers. It was what was in my my Explorer. They were the Pro Bookers, and they were splittable. And they've got something to cater for most of the Les Pauls. And if they're not willing to throw a nitro finish out there to make something, a little bit more vintage feeling or vintage wearing or anything like that, then there's not much else they can do with the Les Pauls at this point, unless they just say, right, we're going to cut the features right back. The only thing I might say is Double Cut Junior.
Absolutely. I think whole junior range, SG Junior, LP Junior, Double Cut Junior, would be absolutely banging. Because Gibson's still at the moment, I think their modern Double Cut Junior, like the one with the weird pick guard on it.
Yeah.
I think you can get them for about 500-600. But then if you want like traditional, you're talking over $1,000.
I'm pretty sure in the last run they got rid of the normal ones. You can only get them in the custom shop now, and they're over $2,000.
I had a look recently, and they did have it in the standard line, but it was in dollars, but it was like 1-2, I think.
Right. Okay.
But you're still talking that'll be like the best part of $1,000, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, that'll be £1,000.
I don't know if they're over here as well. But that it seems ridiculous having what is essentially like a student model guitar, or was considered a student model guitar, at $1,000. Like put it at 600-700 quid again, like that sweet spot, 700 quid. It's not quite $1,000, so you'd feel a bit more comfortable with it. Yeah, and I think if Epiphone did one, maybe like 200-250.
Even 300 quid for a Double Cut Junior, 250 for an SG Junior and a standard Les Paul Junior. People, they fly off the shelves. People are crying out for those guitars.
Yeah, they would fly off the shelves. Like, even if they are priced a little bit, because the problem is at the moment you've got affordable alternatives like the Harley Benton, Ferris Blue. Is it a double cut? No, it's a single cut.
No, it's a single cut, yeah.
Yeah, so like,
and that's just a special colour of a range that's already exists.
Yeah, completely. That's what 170 or something like that, I think, and that's because that's got that like P90 special pickup that like is tappable, and also comes with like a Graphtec nut and like they come strung with Darios as well, so it's all like legit, and they're coming in under that 200 price point. Like,
yeah, but people would always be willing to spend more on an Epiphone than they will be for Harley Benton, just because of the reputation of those two companies.
Yeah, and like that Kalamazoo stock it's closer to Gibson than the Harley Benton one, and in terms of the shape as well, Harley Benton will have had to tweak it a little bit so that they're not in cease and desist target zone, whereas Epiphone won't have to do that, so it will feel slightly more like a Les Paul, like a Gibson Les Paul double cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I think if they're going to add to the Les Paul range, that's the place that Gibson are missing.
Yeah.
In the actual Les Paul.
So I think that's Epiphone's next. I think we both agree on that one. That's where Epiphone should go next. Finally, before we wrap up the podcast, what should Epiphone not do next? What should Epiphone avoid doing next? Because they've done, to be fair, within the last 5 years, Epiphone have taken some great steps.
They have,
and Gibson have, to be fair, like definitely within the last kind of 2 or 3.
Yeah, in terms of things not to do, £800 Joe Bonamassa Firebird.
Yeah, I mean, I'd completely agree with it, but they sell. The stupid thing is they sell.
Yeah, but only to stupid people.
Yeah, they do sell to stupid people. And there will probably be a collector's market later on where more stupid people will buy them for stupid prices. But they are selling. But I completely agree with you that the Epiphone signature range is a saturated range. Like, you've had some stupid guitars in there.
Didn't they have a Slash one for over £1,000 this year or last year?
Yeah, I think so.
So it was like £1,100 for a fucking Epiphone because it had Slash's signature on it or something.
Yeah, they had like a limited run, and there was like some case candy that came with it, and so on and so forth. But it was a very pricey Epiphone. They've done various Joe Bonamassa signatures, like a Joe Bonamassa 335 with Joe Bonamassa across the fretboard.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember.
They've had several different Les Pauls in the last 4 years with Joe Bonamassa's signature on them one way or another.
They had that Flying V, didn't they? The Amos Flying V, which was like the Carina-bodied Flying V. Yeah, I mean, we've reported on so many Slash and Joe Bonamassa signatures.
They've all run into one in my head.
Yeah, which is why we're struggling to come up with anything that makes a cohesive bit of sense, because there's just been saturated. But I'd go one further. I'd go one further than that and say scrap all signatures within the Epiphone range. I reckon, for all the good that they've done, because we mentioned before the cast the Lee Malia, didn't we? Yeah. Which has been like, there was a Les Paul, there was an RD. I think there might have been another one as well.
There was a Explorer, if I remember rightly.
Okay, so we've got three Lee Malias, which seem to really get like a cult following, and it's not because of Lee Malia. I don't think it's because of the humbucker P90 pickup config was the reason. But like those were considered to be absolutely excellent. You've got like the Gary Clark Jr.
That was Gibson, wasn't it? Or did they do another one?
The Casino.
Oh, the Casino. Sorry, yes, yeah.
Yeah, they then took him on to do the Gibson P270 SG, which is again absolutely banging, fantastic price. Triple P90 SG for like, I think it was like 1.3 or something like that. That's insane. But like, for all of these kind of cool and quirky little signatures, the Lizzie Hale, the Matt Heafy, all of these, you end up with like shed loads, absolutely shed loads of like Joe Bonamassa and Slash signatures that are so homogenized. Like, there's this is X burst of a Slash guitar that he played once on like a guest spot on an album that you've never heard of. And you're like, okay, yeah, sweet, brilliant. But it's less they sell, so they keep churning them out. I want to see none of that. I want to see that only in the Gibson lineup. Like, give these people the ones who are you giving Epiphone signatures because like the Lee Malliers, the Gary Clarks, the Lizzie Hale, all of these kind of quote unquote lower tier Gibson artists. Bump them up, but give them like a mid range Gibson, like the Gary Moore BFGs were. Like they come out at $1,000. Yeah, and were like it was essentially like a studio with a P90 and a humbucker. Brilliant. Yeah, do that. Give them like a lower tier Gibson if that's how you want to play it.
I can get on board with that.
Like, just leave the Epiphones for just straight cheaper, like quote unquote cheaper, but like Gibsons that are manufactured in like China or Korea.
Yep.
And that's it. That's fine. That's how I'd like to see it. Let us know in the comments of our Facebook group. Let us know what you'd like to see Gibson doing, because like what we're saying might be the complete opposite. You might be like, yeah, give more signature artists. I want to see this person and that person and this person with signatures. Let us know, because I'd really like to hear your feedback, listener. Speaking of listeners, we've got some premium listeners to mention here, haven't we? Some Patreon geezers. Let's see if I can remember them, because it's been a while. Right, so as little as $2 a month, you can be one of these people. You can get your name shouted out on the podcast, and you get a little bit of a shout out to your company if you are part of a company. Much like Adam Yeomans of Chef Tone Face. We've got Andrew Bimson. We've got Doug Christ of 37 Effects, who Matt was talking about earlier. We have got Joseph Richardson of Joseph Richardson Music and Abstractium Band, who not so long ago have released an acoustic version of Argon, their debut single. Who else have we got? We've got Huge Erection. We've got 90s Wood. We've got Ben Fletcher of Fletcher Pickups. We have got Brian Gower of the Tone Jerks podcast. I think that's it, isn't it?
As far as I'm aware, unless there's been any changes.
I didn't miss anyone. That's fine. So, if you want to catch us online, I am BudgetPedalChap. So, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.com/BudgetPedalChap. YouTube.com is the home to the No Talk All Tone series. And if you subscribe and hit that bell icon on Pedalboards of Doom as well, you will also get the Stomp v Stomp series. And if I pull my finger out, the second in the series of the top 5 video series. I need to orchestrate that a little bit better. This second one is a follow-up to the most influential pedals based on commenters, and there's a very, very special surprise. It's well worth looking out for. That's all I'm saying there. Matt, you are Hill_Matt Q.
Correct.
Twitch, at Twitter, at Instagram.
Yep.
And you are part of the Bad Bookers podcast. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
You're nodding. You're nodding. Nodding doesn't work on an audio podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Point taken.
There we go. It's been a while for you as well, hasn't it, Matt?
Yeah. It's been over a month.
There you go.
Too long. We need to not do that again.
No, we don't. So I think that's where we're going to wrap up this podcast for today. So from myself, Mr. Budget Pedal Chap, from Mr. Matt Quine, say bye, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Way! It will be a tatty bye and good night for this week. Not a bit.
Bye.
Waving, I'm waving.
Yeah, wave. Don't forget to wave.
I'm like the fabric version of King Midas. Everything I touch becomes felt.
Oh dear.
When does a joke become a dad joke?
Go on.
And this punchline works much better when it's written down. When the punchline becomes apparent.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. After the delivery. There we go.